Sheriff Richard Mack is a constitutional sheriff. What does that mean?
Stand up for your community and support your local sheriff? Join the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and become a vital member of the Sheriff's Citizens Posse. At CSPOA.org, we empower citizens like you through weekly webinars, arming you with the knowledge to back your constitutional county sheriff. Together, we can uphold our Constitution and ensure liberty and justice for all. Your community needs you now more than ever. Visit CSPOA.org and join the Sheriff's Citizens Posse today. Make a difference. Stand for freedom. That's CSPOA.org. Your country, your fight, your future.
Really? He's my guest here on today's Do Not Talk. I'm Charlie Simons, your host, talking about two things you're never supposed to talk about, politics and religion. I also talk to people you're not supposed to talk to, like Sheriff Richard Mack. I had the honor and privilege of getting to meet him. It's been a couple of years ago now at Glad Tidings. That's a church in Northern California out in Yuba City area. And he was there talking about the CSPOA. That's where I got to meet Chris Ann Hall, too, a constitutional attorney. Changed my world, changed my whole life, changed my outlook, and made me realize how important a constitutional sheriff is as the only elected law enforcement official, the only person that we get to choose. Yeah, we want them to protect the law in my county. Extremely important. We don't even put any kind of thought into it for the most part. We got to change that. That's what the CSPOA is all about. Constitutional Sheriff and Peace Officers Association. I first, though, wanted to invite you to check out a product. I'm now a consultant with this company, as a matter of fact, because I like it so much and I believe in it, the health effects and benefits of collagen. But where you're getting it from, you don't even know. Most of it's from stinking China. You don't even know what's in it. This company is Nueva Life, nuevalife.com/Charlie Simons. Collagen with peptides. You've been hearing about peptides and the importance of it? Well, Nueva Life actually puts the ingredients on there. Check that out. You can see what's actually in it. Imagine that. And they also have a great nitro product. They call it, it's for energy and clarity, mental clarity, just great stuff. They got a coffee now, too, that you're going to want to check out. As a matter of fact, I just ordered it this past week, and definitely let you know what I think of it. It's all through my name as a promo code. You just put this in, and the link is down below as well. Nueva Life. That's for new life. nuevalife.com/Charlie Simons. CharlleSimons. What do you got to lose? Check it out. And you might even decide, like me, you like it so much and you believe in the company and you love what they're doing that you want to join me in letting others know about this product. It's up to you. But you can't know unless you go. It's nuevalife.com/Charlie Simons. Sheriff Richard Mack on Do Not Talk. He's back. The Mack is back. Ready? Hit it. Well, get along, little doggies. Here he is. Hello, Sheriff. Howdy.
Howdy, partner. It's great to be back with you.
I appreciate it very much. And I appreciate you and what you stand for and what you do and what you've been fighting for. How many of your own fellow sheriffs throughout the nation, the United States of America, even know the importance that they have as a constitutional sheriff? There's a difference, isn't there? How many do you think even know? I'm surprised that many don't.
Well, I've been trying to make them aware of all of this for the past 15, 20 years, probably more like 25, because I beat the United States Supreme Court. The only time in U.S. history where sheriffs sued the federal government, took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and we won. It was such a miracle, Charlie. I can't believe that more sheriffs would not be. Well, for that matter, every citizen in the country needs to know about the case as well. But it just has never gotten traction, and I'm this lone ranger out there trying to travel the country. I've been to all 50 states. I've done presentation in 48 states, And I'm just trying to make everybody aware, in law enforcement, especially sheriffs, especially, and the citizens, even more so, that they see this amazing, miraculous decision. And I wrote a booklet about the case, and I put all the highlights in this little booklet, and it's available at my website at cspoa.org. It'll be on the front, and it shows my hand holding the booklet so you can kind of see the size. One of these costs $3. 3 of them cost $5. And as you go up and get more, they're even cheaper. Folks, the reason we're doing that is because we want you to pass them around. Get this out there. And Justice Scalia wrote the decision for the majority. And he's one of the most conservative justices ever in the history of the court, of the Supreme Court. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit with one of his quotes, my favorite quote. Do you know what he does? He quotes the Founding Fathers, he quotes the Federalist Papers, he quotes the Constitution, and he takes us through a history lesson. He doesn't make up crap about political agendas and like the Supreme Court today. The Democrats adhere to Democrat dogma, Republicans adhere to Republican dogma. And we're supposed to be adhering to the Constitution of the United States. Period.
How about that?
I know that would be a novel idea, wouldn't it? And so here he is on page 9. Listen to this quote. I mean, I don't need to read it. I'm not going to read it. I have it memorized. And this is something he's talking about with the federal government working with the state governments. And when they do that, he said this quote, and he's quoting, obviously, Federalist Paper 51. Hence, a double security arises to the rights of the people. Well, let me pause there for a minute. How does that happen? He explains. The different governments will control each other. Well, that's what we've been saying all along. It's the sheriff's job to control the other governments that come into his county. And let's do an easy one. Like the IRS comes into his county, doesn't ask permission, doesn't even notify him. They come in and take people's property, take people's bank accounts. And they say, well, how can the sheriff stop that? They can do that online. They can just notify the bank and then take their money. Well, that's part of the problem. So the sheriff needs to let them know, you're not going to do that to the people in my county. And if you do, I'm going to come after you because you're nothing but a bunch of bullies. You don't follow the Constitution and you're abusing law-abiding citizens. And why would any sheriff allow that to happen? What? Because they're scared of the IRS? They don't want to be audited?
Right.
You know, tell the IRS to stay out and any other bureaucrat unless they check with you first. And they better have duly signed warrants according to the Fourth Amendment and not some stamped letter from a judge. Everyone, the answer for America's problems today, and I don't care which one it is that we've got to get back to the Constitution. And the IRS has been outside the Constitution for over 100 years.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's abolish it. I'm all in favor
Absolutely.
of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Get rid of it.
Yes. You know, if Congress would simply have the courage to make a simple and fair tax structure, we wouldn't even need the IRS. But because it's so convoluted, mistakes happen with everybody. In fact, the IRS employees don't even pass the audits that they provide for employees. That was a long time ago. Not even 60% of employees for the IRS could do their taxes correctly. And has anybody ever changed? No. Republicans and Democrats have kept this there because why? They want the control. They want the power over the people.
It's an easy way to raise money quickly.
Wait, say
it's
that
an
again?
easy way to raise money quickly. In my state of California,
exactly.
That's what they do.
It's all about fundraising. And that's what really disenchanted me with law enforcement. What do? Well, we act like little IRS agents out there writing tickets all day. And we're not serving and protecting. We're acting like the IRS. We're raising revenue. And so when I saw that first as a police officer, I did it. I said, well, this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to write tickets. And then 2.5 years into writing tickets, one day I was writing a lady a ticket and it hit me. She was the one that violated the stop sign, but I was the one violating the law. And I realized that I didn't want to be a tax collector. I wanted to be a public servant. And I stopped writing all those ridiculous tickets and I started studying the Constitution. And I promised myself that I would never be on the wrong side again. And then about 6 years after that, I moved home to Arizona and I ran for Graham County Sheriff in my hometown. And the miracle happened again. I won. I got reelected in 1992. And in 1994, I became the first sheriff in American history to sue the federal government. And we're talking about the Clinton administration here. I sued the Clintons and lived to tell about it. There's another miracle. And it went all the way to the Supreme Court and we won. And 6 other sheriffs joined me in that lawsuit. And praise the Lord that they did, because they were all key in making sure that this went to the Supreme Court. And so
you set a great example and a great precedent too. Sheriff
yeah.
Richard Lamb, also down there in Pineal County, right? In Arizona.
Mark Lamb.
I'm sorry, Mark Lamb.
Good man.
A really good man, and stepped up and I believe that you blazed that trail. And he goes, not in my county. Nope, because the rest of the country may be falling apart around us. The rest of the state might be, doing really stupid things when it comes to all these illegals flooding over the border. That's being allowed by the federal government. Not only allowed, but encouraged. They're paying these people who are coming over illegally.
Well, his
not in my county.
Yeah, and I loved him when he did that. I mean, I loved him all along. He's actually a third cousin of mine. So I guess it runs in the blood. But his first calling card issue wasn't immigration. It was a huge one later on. His first calling card issue, where he stood up to the government, federal and state, was COVID-19 mandates. And he came out he announced that he wasn't going to do it anymore. And he came out on Fox and they had him interviewed. And it just so happens that the governor then was a Republican friend of Sheriff Lamb. And so he said, no, I'm not doing it. He says, well, what if Governor Ducey gets mad at you? He says, well, we're friends, and I doubt if he's going to do that. And I'm in charge of Pinal County, not the governor. And every sheriff needs to understand that. He does not answer to the governor. He doesn't answer to the attorney general. He does not answer to the county attorney. He does not answer to the county commissioners. He answers only to the people who appointed him or elected him as sheriff. And that's why the office is such a powerful office. He answers directly to the power source, we the people.
One thing I learned out here in California, they've got it set up to where, and I actually cornered one of the sheriffs in the county I was working in at the time when I asked him about being a constitutional sheriff. And he said, oh, yes, I am. And I do this and I do that. And I follow this. I believe in that. And I said, now, is this the U.S. Constitution or the California Constitution? And he goes, well, the California Constitution. And then I learned that I believe it's the Secretary of State. I don't. You'll correct me if I'm wrong, but they control the purse strings of these different sheriff's departments and offices throughout the state of California, and they'll cut your funding if you get too out of line.
I don't think it's the Secretary of State. Usually, Secretary of State is in charge of voting. Yes. But it could be. It could be, but I don't know California, but I don't think anybody understands California.
Might be the Attorney General. I don't remember exactly, but I remember
it was. I've heard that one before. It was the AG, but the AG is not the sheriff's boss either. And so, but what about it's the federal government? We have a sheriff here in Arizona, Dave Rhodes in Yavapai County. Well, he took over the job there about, I think, 2 terms ago. And he knows my Supreme Court case better than any sheriff in the country. He can quote it just like I do, and he does frequently. But he came in there, and I've told him and other sheriffs that they should never take federal funding because there's always strings attached, and the counties and the state should fund their own sheriff's departments. And it's actually sheriff's office. It's not a department. It's an office.
Right.
Okay, it's
Right.
independent and it's autonomous. He said, "Well, that's kind of crazy because I get $500,000 a year from the federal government, but it was here before I got here." He says, "I haven't put in for any other uh, grants, federal grants at all." So then he told me that they contacted him after a while and they said, "Hey, we need you to do this and this and this." And he said, "Well, I'm not going to." They said, "Well, this could cost you your grant." And he says, "Well, come and get it." He told them, "Come and get it." He wasn't threatening or anything else. He said, "Come and get it," which doesn't mean they're going to come in the county. What they're going to do is they're going to call the county supervisors and get the money back. And that was the last conversation they ever had. And they never went after it. They realized that this sheriff was going to stand on his own and he wasn't going to take orders from the feds for money. Do you realize that if you do what they say for money, that makes you a political prostitute? And we already have enough of those in Washington, D.C., so we don't need any more out here in Arizona.
No kidding. Here in California, one of my absolute favorites is El Dorado County Sheriff Jeff Lykoff.
He's one of us. He's one of us.
He's corrected me more than once when I called it a sheriff's department because it's not a department. It's an office.
An office.
And then I asked him to explain what's the difference because I didn't know. We all think that because there's police department and that's run by the city, isn't it?
Right. It's a division of the city. Yeah, it's a department of the city. Yeah. But an office is its own office. And it's not it's not a divided part of the county. It's not a divided part of the city. And it's an office that belongs to the people. And they appoint a sheriff every 4 years. And they review the sheriff's job performance. And they decide who to keep as their sheriff.
It's happening in Los Angeles County next year. This is a very integral race when it comes to having a sheriff, this constitutional sheriff. And I had Oscar Martinez on, who's running last week. He's running against Villanueva, who was sheriff once before and either stepped down or didn't get reelected. I don't remember what happened, why he didn't serve again. So a guy named Luna won in Los Angeles. And this guy's been nothing but a Democrat hoe doing everything and anything he can to make sure nothing gets happening in LA County when it comes to the sheriff's office or department in that case. And Oscar Martinez is a Bible believing, Christ Jesus following conservative. And I'm like, buddy, how do you stand a chance to win the sheriff's office to be sheriff in LA County? What's going on there?
Well, if he really believes in protecting life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, in other words, the civil rights of all the people in his county, I think they'll flock to him. Because first of all, what have the Democrats done? The Democrat chief of police, the Democrat city council, and the Democrat mayor of Los Angeles City. What have they done? What have they done to help?
They did nothing during the riots earlier this year after the whole ICE agents started showing up.
And what really concerns me and astonishes me is that these leftist Democrat extremists who run a lot of the major cities in America, including Los Angeles, are telling the American people and telling their constituents within Los Angeles that we want to keep the human traffickers in our county. We want to keep the international terrorists in our county. We want to keep the cartels in our county. We want to keep the drug dealers and the fentanyl coming into our county. And people are still going to vote for them because what? They stand up to Trump? That's the most absurd excuse I've ever heard for voting for somebody while your city is being destroyed from within.
That's what they're doing, though. They worship the government. They don't even care. It's all about steal, kill, and destroy. It's like they're doing the devil's work just as quickly as possible, for his time is short. Let's talk about assisting ICE and deportation, which thank God President Trump has made good on his promise to make that happen. And Tom Homan, a great director of ICE. But the sheriffs need to help with it and keep it peaceful and effective. But if you have
now
a
you're
sheriff,
quoting me. Now you're quoting me.
Yes, I am.
Yes, and that's absolutely true. And I would tell that to Sheriff Luna. Why are you waiting, Sheriff Luna, for President Trump to have to come in and clean up your county and city? Why?
Should not be there. Should not have
You
had
should
to.
be Sheriff Luna.
Same
I
with
can't
Portland,
tell you the
Oregon, right
truth.
now.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of them that are having the same problem, but
Mhm.
Chicago and Los Angeles probably two of the worst. But why haven't you gone to the chief of police in Los Angeles and say, look, I have concurrent jurisdiction with you. I know we have a gentleman's agreement that you handle the calls in Los Angeles City. I handle them outside the city limits. But if you don't take care of inside the city, I will. And folks, that's exactly what every sheriff in this country should be doing. Now, New York doesn't have a New York County where they have a county sheriff, but they have counties all around New York City, and they have some good county commission. They have some good law enforcement commissioners there, and they've started to clean up New York a lot better than when Adams first got in. However,
As New York, who's, by the way, I understand, not going to try and run again for mayor of New York. He's stepping down.
no, he's not. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
He's doing everything he can to make sure that Mamdani doesn't get in, and I hope the Republican will also bow out. So
do
that,
I. But
can
how
you believe
long
we're
has New
saying
York
this?
not? Has New York
Yeah.
never had a sheriff?
No, not inside the city. Well, way back in the early colonial days, yes, they did. That was the first office anywhere in the country for.
Why would they get rid of that?
Just through evolution, but there's a worse state, Connecticut.
De-evolution.
Yeah, right. It's a de-evolution. But Connecticut voted the office of sheriff out of the state 30 years ago. And Alaska and Hawaii never established the office. And I've been to Alaska to try to get them to get back to it, but just the political will just isn't there. And Hawaii just is status quo all the way. And they're so liberal. They like the chiefs of police that follow orders. And I'm trying to work with the chief of police in the Big Island right now to get our training over there. And people in law enforcement need constitutional training, civil rights training, Rosa Parks training.
The sheriffs need constitutional training, and that's
well,
what
of course,
you do.
they all do.
PSPOA.
Everyone in law enforcement needs the training, and we provide it. And
Yes.
the main thing that we train on is this Supreme Court case. And folks, again, you need to have copies of this and pass them out. But the main thing is Luna should be doing his job. And I would endorse Martinez, anything to help Martinez, because Luna just doesn't get the significance of his job, and that he sits by and watches this criminal element escalate and does nothing. So really, Sheriff Luna, you want to keep the international terrorists in your country, in your county, and you want to keep the cartels in your county, and you want to keep the human traffickers, sexual exploitation of children in your county.
Yes.
Please be very vocal and specific about your ideas of keeping those groups in your county.
Right. And explain to us why.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. And I will let Oscar Martinez know that he's got your endorsement. I'm sure he'll contact you. But if you could meet President Trump, perhaps you have, I don't know.
I haven't.
Do you have a to-do list for him? If he were to say, Sheriff Mack, you've accomplished some extraordinary things, and I love the work you're doing. Do you got any ideas for me? What would you tell him?
Well, first of all, I would thank him so much for beating Kamala Harris and having the courage to run again. He doesn't need this job. So I thank him for that. The other thing I would thank him for is securing the border, and that he, within the first 6 months of his office, was able to accomplish this miracle of securing our border. However, there's still a lot of people in this country, at least 10 or 15 million, probably more, that have come here to destroy our country from within. And that's exactly why the cartels and the international terrorists here have set up sleeper cells all across the country. And if we're going to find those people, the sheriffs have got to be involved. The sheriffs know the county better than anybody else. And they've got to start getting their deputies to be aware of this and locate them, get the eyes and ears of the people to locate these. Look, I went riding with a sheriff in New Mexico, and he literally showed me some places where cartels own ranches, cartels own other businesses, and they use those businesses to funnel money to politicians. And this is a very corrupt system that we have. The corruption, the public corruption and political corruption in America and in Washington, D.C. is the number one threat facing America. But what I would ask President Trump now is that now, President Trump, you've mentioned that you want to get rid of the IRS. Freedom and the IRS cannot coexist, and they have not. And so please follow through with that, and let's abolish the IRS.
You're a constitutional scholar. Doesn't the Constitution talk about, isn't that unconstitutional to begin with, an income tax?
It is, and having them as a debt collector for
police force.
Federal Reserve, police force for the Federal Reserve.
Yep.
So don't fire people in the Federal Reserve, abolish the Federal Reserve, and then turn it back to you and Congress where it's supposed to be to regulate our money. And turn it over to private banksters, these banksters that control the Federal Reserve. That was totally unconstitutional.
Bankster. You're not a gangster, you're a bankster.
That's what they are.
I like it.
Yeah, and why we trust Jerome Powell or any of them, and asking permission from the courts to fire people. Abolish all of it. You could show them right in the Constitution where they have no proper authority to exist. Article 1, Section 8. Read it. It talks about that. So, President Trump, first and foremost, we've got to defund Planned Parenthood. That corrupt criminal spending of taxpayer dollars on that organization is absolutely horrendous, and it's criminal, and it's corruption at its zenith. And so that has got to stop. You have mentioned it before, and so has Mike Johnson. Please get with him. You've got the support of the people and the Christian community across the country. Please, let's end that scourge and that horrible death mark on America's future.
National Public Radio,
life. Let's
PBS
protect life.
And NPR. Go ahead.
So then that Federal Reserve and IRS, and we would get America back on track big time. Please do that. I'm willing to help you in any way possible.
There you go. PBS and NPR, National Public Radio, public broadcasting system, all government funded. It's got to go, and it's happened. It's happened.
Yeah.
All they said was, well, we don't get that much from the federal government anyway, and we're listener and viewer supported. Well, great.
Okay, go ahead.
Programming that people want to listen to and people want to watch, then why don't you have to compete just like we do as a conservative, or excuse me, as a licensed broadcaster with the Federal Communications Commission? Yeah. I can't ask for funding. I got to sell commercials. I got to put a good product out there. I got to.
Well, same with me.
To support.
Yeah, same with me. And not only that, if this solid Republican administration now, if they do not do it, I'm going to sue the federal government on that issue. And why? Why? Because I have a national organization, CSPOA, the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. Every American can be a member of that. And we urge all of you to be part of this solution. We are solution oriented. However, if they don't, I'm going to sue. And maybe first I have to file a letter asking for funding for the CSPOA. They will turn me down. Then under the equality and fairness of the 14th Amendment and of the entire Constitution. So why do you fund a private organization known as Planned Parenthood and they provide no government service? We protect civil rights. We train every sheriff in this country and peace officer to defend the civil rights of every American. Which one is more important? Killing babies in the womb, which is not a government service, and we provide a government service. But we don't want taxpayers paying our bills. They cannot be forced to do that. Yes, we get donations from the American people, but it's voluntary. And we hope we get more. And we hope we get more sheriffs involved. But you can't force taxpayers to fund us or to fund a radio station or a TV program. That's absurd. And the worst one would be killing babies, for heaven's sakes. Amen. They provide no government service, and they are a private club. That's it.
And they've expanded all over the world, by the way.
Of course.
They have.
So no, it's time to get rid of this. And you know, Planned Parenthood has actually bragged. We will have wholesale distribution of abortion, and we'll have every Christian in this country pay for it.
Yep.
Isn't that something? Because that is exactly what's happening.
It's got to end.
And I'm telling you, on my lawsuit, I'm going to tell you and everybody else right now, I will not continue to pay taxes to a government that provides this kind of horrible funding. I will not.
Well.
So let's go to court. Take me to court. I'll go there too. But hopefully, my lawsuit will put an end to that. But I pray that Trump will do the right thing, and I believe he is going to. But Mike Johnson has said the same thing, that we need to abolish funding of defund Planned Parenthood. Okay, what are you waiting on? I can see what they were doing the first 6 months with deportation and securing the border. That has to happen first. You don't have a country if you don't have security at the border. I get that. Now it's time to get rid of Planned Parenthood. We're not going to stop abortion. We're never going to stop abortion, but we can stop the funding with taxpayer dollars. That part
There's so
we can.
much going on in the world, though, that's pulling them in so many different directions with Israel and Gaza and Russia and Ukraine. There's so many other things going on in the world that are just tearing them away from what I want them to be focusing on here. I agree with you so much.
I was proud what he told the UN, but he just needed to make one more little solid threat. If you don't start doing your job, America is quitting the UN. And he should have said it, because we need to quit the UN.
We got to do that regardless. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm all about that. Get us out.
But I really wish he would have said that.
They're hosting the leader of the greatest nation on the planet, and they shut down the elevator when he gets on it. They shut down the teleprompter when he's starting to give his speech.
But they're gonna investigate it. Yeah.
Look what they did. They're horrible people, and they should not be here, and we should not be funding it. Get them out of our country.
Trump rose above it all, undaunted. His wife rose above it all, undaunted, and so you know what? Kick them out of here, and let's get out. This is any organization that supports abortion like they do, supports wars like they have, and we spend way too much money on them, but they support a horrible WHO, World Health Organization, and forcing people to be vaxxed all across the world. This is so stupid. It's so tyrannical. And even worse is that the propaganda scheme of brainwashing that America is subservient to the United Nations. That is absolutely not true, but that's what the world thinks. And what do they want? They want a global, worldwide currency, and they want global control.
Talk about the 2035 agenda. I'm sure you know about the 2035 agenda, right? What do you know about it?
Of course. Yeah. And so, folks, we've got to nip this in the bud while we can. This is a horrible, evil organization who's anti-American. Yeah. They're anti-American.
Yeah. Well, as long as the United States of America stands strong, they're not going to be able to usher in their new world order. And it really boils down to that. This is all one world government crap.
But you put another Democrat in there and we won't be standing strong.
You're absolutely right.
And they're very close to losing the House of Representatives now. So
this state of California.
How much longer do the Republicans actually have control?
Maybe if we don't show up for the midterm elections, we're done.
I know. We're in trouble. Yeah.
And we don't. The conservatives don't. Republicans don't show up for the midterms and the primaries.
If Christians and gun owners, would show up, nobody would touch us anywhere.
I was surprised to find out, as a shooter, and have been, I was a marksman when I was 12, 22 long rifle, prone position. I've been amazed at how unwilling my fellow gun enthusiasts and Second Amendment supporters, they don't even get involved. They don't want to get registered to vote. Well, I don't want to be on their radar. Son, your guns are already registered with the Department of Justice. You're on their frickin' radar. What are you talking about? Get registered to vote. Start getting some people in there who are going to support the way you believe and the way you think and the Constitution of the United States of America. Get involved and get registered to vote. we have a chance of having a Republican governor in the state of California next year. We got a great, strong bench of excellent candidates. If you have anyone that sticks out in your mind, I'd love to hear who it is. But the election fraud is so rampant here in California.
For governor?
For governor. If we don't get a Republican governor.
I've already put my endorsement behind
Chad Bianco?
No. Oh, no.
No, because he's a fellow sheriff. I thought for sure you'd say Bianco.
No, we've had a huge falling out, and it's because he really changed his personality big time. I'll tell you about him more off the air. If you want to use it later, you can. But Pastor Che On from Pasadena.
I've been trying to get him on the show. He's one of the few that has not come on yet.
Well, I could probably hook you up with him. He was going to have a golf tournament fundraiser the first week of November, and I was invited, but it's been postponed to January. But I'm still going, and I'm going to donate to his campaign. I like to golf. That's the only thing I do. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I don't camp.
You and me, brother. Love it.
Yeah, but I like to golf. I'm not that good. Every now and again I have a good game. I shot a 82 a couple of times, but mostly I'm right around 90 usually. And so if I shoot below 90, I feel good about it. And I can still drive. For an old man, I can hit the ball pretty good. But and I've got a grandson that's really good. But I'm with Che On because one, he's a man of the cloth, and I like that, but that doesn't automatically qualify. So first of all, he loves America, and he's all about God, family, and country.
Well, nobody's talking about him, at least up here in NorCal where I am. Nobody even knows who he is.
Well, they should, because he sued Newsom during the COVID-19 catastrophe, and he won. And he sued for $1.5 million for them trying to shut his church down, and they did shut it down for a little bit. So no, this guy's a stalwart, and I haven't gone to a church service yet out in Pasadena, but I'm going to. I've had that on my list ever since he did that, and I came out. The news when he did that was big. It was all over Fox News and a few others, and MSN on the internet, and that's where I get most of my news. I get off the internet. But yes, it is absolutely would be wonderful. And there's that Hilton guy from Fox News. He would be pretty good. Yeah, Hilton. Yeah.
Daniel Mercury also is a very strong believer, and also has got the legal background that to go after all the crimes that were committed during the whole COVID shutdown crap and the election fraud. Daniel Mercury is his name.
I'm totally with Che On, and I am not supporting Bianco.
Okay, good to know. Well, thank you for that. Which is funny because he's the only one who has said no to being on my show.
Who did?
That always makes me not that I'm that big of a deal.
Bianco refused?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Why? You're too conservative. That's why.
Exactly. Yeah. It's got to be it.
Yeah.
But we have a chance at having a Republican governor if we will only show up, and if the gun owners and the Christians, like you said, will actually show up and vote, we could make this happen and see what kind of inroads we can make in correcting the disastrous course that this state is on. I don't see how we come back from it, though. The state is broke, and that idiot that some people call the governor of California, Governor Hairdo, is spending over $200 million, Sheriff. $200 million on this special election the first Tuesday of this November. We're just a little over a month away from that to pass Prop 50, which is going to take away the rights or take away we voted for this. We voted to say, yeah, we want a committee of nonpartisan folks deciding what the districts are. They don't get to gerrymander anymore. Yeah. He wants to take that away and say, yeah, we're going to decide where the lines are drawn. But he's got to have a special election. And that's happening a little over a month from now. $200 million to do this special election. And we're broke, Sheriff Mack.
Oh, you are broke.
How is it happening?
Yeah, you are broke. And with everything that California has, the theme parks and the Yosemite and the hunting and the fishing and the land and the resources, Yeah, it's got an economy bigger than most of the countries in the world, but it's being ruined by the Democrat Party, and it's really astonishing that Ronald Reagan was the governor of California. What changed California from a Ronald Reagan state to a Nancy Pelosi state? What happened? And I'm going to tell you right now, one of them is illegal immigration or immigration. And because the same thing they want down in California, they want to do nationwide, and they want to change the voter rolls for the Democrat Party. So they have a complete and utter monopoly over political power from Bangor, Maine to Honolulu, Hawaii. That's what they're after. And they're willing to sacrifice the security and safety of all Americans to get it. And that's what they've done. And yes, that is treason.
The worst president this country's ever had, Joe Biden, mumbled, fumbled, and drooled through that statement that California is the shining example of what the rest of the country should be.
Yes, he's right, except it's not shining. And the thing of it is, you better look at that statement because it's true.
Yeah.
If you want the rest of the country to be like California, Californians, we need you. We need you to show up. Christians and gun owners, get registered, get out to vote, and let's.
I lost the last part of what you said there. You froze up a second.
Let's put this stuff.
Get registered. Get registered.
Yeah.
There you go. Right on, my friend. You're an extraordinary gentleman. It was a pleasure to get to meet you and get a photo with you and hear what you have to say in person and shake your hand. And now to get you back on the show again means a lot to me. Thank you, my friend.
Well, thanks. I come to California quite a bit, so I'm sure we can do it again. And maybe I'll make sure you get invited to that Cheon event. But yeah, I'll make sure that somebody on his side gets on the show with you.
I want to golf with you.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to golf with you.
I love that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. At CSPOA.org, CS, Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, CSPOA.org. Support it. Start by going there and finding out more about it. Sheriff Richard Mack, thank you. I salute you, sir.
Thank you. I'll see you soon, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Oh, I cut him off just as he was saying thank you. Dang it, I hate when I do that. You can say hello to him through the CSPOA.org. Be involved with what he's doing. And he hasn't quit. He hasn't quit. And he could have. I mean, he's doing all right. He's doing just fine. That's why I admire people who don't just talk about it. They actually make things happen. They actually get things done. And stepping in and saying we're offering education courses for actual law enforcement, not just sheriffs, not just deputies, but also police as Peace Officers Association, CSPOA.org. I'm at charliesimons.com, CharlleSimons. Say right there, charliesimons.com. If you want to contact me, help me financially, you certainly can. Buy some products from my merchandise store, my merch store. I'd appreciate it. And just get involved. You'll always find the shows there. Facebook shut down all my accounts a little over 3 months ago. Everything is gone. I can't even let people know I got a new show up now because I put all my eggs in the meta basket. My mistake. Trying to correct that now. I'm on Twitch now, twitch.tv/do not talk. And got to get on Telegram. Got to get on Getter. Got to get a Substack going too. That's my work ahead of me, but you can help me at charliesimons.com. Financially support me. I'd appreciate it. Buy me a cup of coffee or buy me a tank of gas. In California, that's expensive. But thank you for your effort. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless the United States of America. But most importantly, America bless God.